Welcome back, everybody, to Pooley Mag TV, the raw, unedited, unscripted NUFC fan channel, where everybody's got an opinion and nobody's opinion's wrong. Well, wow, what a match that was. That was unbelievable. That was not what I was expecting from this game whatsoever. So let's just dive straight into the video. Hit like, hit subscribe, all that jazz. But let's just dive straight into it. So, team lineup, you've got Anthony Gordon up front again, Dan Burn starting again, and you're thinking, oh, I like Dan Burn, don't get me wrong, and especially like him as a centre back, but you think, is it time for a rest? Nice to see Ramsdale come in, Trippier starting again, Gordon up front, you're thinking, he doesn't offer enough up front. This could be a long night. Manchester United are unbeaten under Carrick, playing some good stuff. Yes, they've scraped by the last couple of games, but they know how to win again. They've got the confidence up. We're lacking in confidence. But we do have a good home record against them. We haven't been beaten off Manchester United at home in 5.5 years. Manchester United have only won 2 of the last 7 games against us, and one was a final, I believe. So there we go. You know, they're not great against us, but we haven't been great all season, and it's got to a point where I'm not looking forward to games anymore. But as soon as we kicked off, we were in at them. I thought Joe Linton from start to finish. That guy, how he didn't get man of the match. I know Dan Burn got man of the match from TNT, but he was my man of the match by a country mile. He bossed the midfield. Yes, some of his shooting was a little bit off, but he was all over the shop tonight. He was great tonight. He really was. That's Joe Linton at his absolute finest. That is the best Joe Linton. That's the best version of Joe Linton you can see. Marauding through, little bits of skill with his feet, beating people, getting in at people, roughing people up, dragging the team forward. He was mesmeric at times tonight. He was unbelievable. But we just looked like we were completely different than what we were against Everton. I went to Hartlepool, just a little tangent here. I went to Hartlepool United last week, my hometown, and were absolutely fantastic against Carlisle, which is one of our like rivals type of thing. Big game for Hartlepool United. And there was fireworks, there was a full crowd, and we turned up and we battered Carlisle, who were above us. I went last night to Sutton, and we were absolute dog shit. Got beat 2-0 and didn't turn up, and that's what Newcastle remind me. When they've got a game where it's like, they just don't turn up, but against a big game, under the lights, against a big team, we've got a chance, which is why I think we'll do City at the weekend. We always turn up in big matches. This is why we will never be an elite team, because we're not consistent enough. But anyway, positive, Stephen. No negatives tonight. That was brilliant. Well, apart from the fucking refereeing again, because that was a disgrace, wasn't it? But our performance was brilliant. We just got in at them. We showed them no respect. I think it happens back to when Eddie Howe, especially on the Prime video, where he said, if they want a match, let's give them a fucking match. Let's get into them. And we did get into them from start to finish. So we had a couple of chances. It wasn't a great first half of chances. It wasn't like people hitting the post and the goalies were making world-class saves or anything. But what there was a bit of needle there. You could tell these two teams don't like each other. You can tell there's a little bit of a rivalry going on, and you can tell we were up for it. This Manchester United team over the course of this season isn't 15 points better than us, but they were today, weren't they? You know what I mean? And they were 10 positions ahead of us. So we had a point to prove tonight, and I think we proved it. The first half we were really good. The referee again was giving us absolutely nothing. I'll get on to him, because I'm going to make a separate video about refereeing in general, because it's every week, man. It's not just us. It's ruining football. It's ruining your experience, because you're seeing decision after decision after decision, where you just think that just does not make sense. Yellow cards for fouls that aren't yellow cards. It's just a talking to. There wasn't one malicious tackle all game, and there was 7 bookings in that match and 1 sending off, and there was no malice in anything. It was just two teams turning it up against each other, and that's what you want in the Premier League. That's what the Premier League's based on. That's why the Premier League's so-called the most exciting league in the world. Well, it's not if you're getting 7 bookings in a game that had no malice in it. It was just two hard-working teams going at it, and we worked that little bit harder than Manchester United, and I'm glad we did. I thought Harvey Barnes looked sharp. Alanga looked sharp. I couldn't say any of our players were bad tonight. I thought Kieran Trippier was absolutely fantastic. Lewis Hall was fantastic. Dan Burn was fantastic. Chow was steady again. Ramsdale, I feel sorry for Ramsdale, mate, because nigh on every goal he concedes isn't his fault, but he made some brilliant saves tonight, especially that last one against Xerxes. Christ almighty. But anyway, getting into it, so we're just piling on a bit of pressure. And Jacob Ramsey, he does a stupid, where he grabs, I think it's Casemiro, he grabs his arm, and it was daft. It might not have been Casemiro, correct me if I'm wrong. But he grabs a Manchester United player's arm, and it's stupid. He stops him from running, he gets a booking. That was a booking, by the way. But then he gets played through off Anthony Gordon, off a decent move, and he's running at the keeper, and the keeper runs out, and he comes out at him. Now, the keeper doesn't touch him, but he's running at him and diving at his feet. The only move Jacob Ramsey can do is move to the side, and he does, and he loses his balance and falls over and gets a second booking. And you're thinking, oh, wow. VAR can't get involved because it's a yellow card offence, which I think's an absolute load of shite. Because it's led to a yellow. Get me words out, easy for me to say. It's led to a red card. So how can you not intervene with that? I just don't. I don't understand it. I don't understand VAR. I don't understand the refereeing. And again, it's another tedious argument against these referees, because not one of them have a fucking clue what they're doing. They really don't. Poor even easy decisions. We were having to look at the linesman and look at the referee to say, what you doing here? It was a joke. But we go down to 10 men and it was like, boom, rocket up our arse. We were already playing well. But the first 5 minutes after we went down to 10 men, we get the penalty. And we just looked like a team reborn. We looked like that red card had galvanised us, and I'm over the moon at that. And we get a penalty and Anthony Gordon slots it away. 3 minutes, was it 3 minutes? Or was it 5 minutes? I think it was 3 minutes at the end of, 3 minutes, at the end of the first half. So you can add a little bit on for the penalty. 10 minutes. 10 minutes that were added on. Manchester United get a free kick and it's 1-1. 9.5 minutes into added on time. That was initially 3 minutes. Where's he pulled 6.5 minutes from? That penalty didn't take 6.5 minutes. There wasn't an incident after that penalty that took 3-4 minutes. There was nothing. And as soon as they score, we kick off and he blows his whistle. And there was boos and boos and boos and boos. Not at Eddie Howe, not at the players, at him. And this utter shite refereeing standard that we've got in England at the minute. It's got to be the worst I've ever seen as a football fan. And I've seen some bad referees. And I've watched Hartlepool United all my life. And we played in really, really shit games in shit leagues against shit opposition with shit referees. And their standard was better, what I used to do every week, was better than the standard I'm watching now in the Premier League. It's dreadful. It really is. So whatever Eddie Howe said at half time worked. And sometimes, well, believe me, I doubt Eddie Howe's ability to do a good half-time team talk most of the time, because we seem to come out with more lethargic than we do in the first half, but we didn't. We absolutely bossed them. It looked like we had 12 men and they had 10. We had 10 men and we were all over them. We never stopped running. Joe Willett put a shift in. Kieran Trippier, we looked like he was 25-year-old. We just absolutely ran them ragged that second half, and we were the one creating chances. Aaron Ramsdale, like I said, made a great save from Lenny Yoro and a world-class save from Joshua Xerxes. And Bruno Fernandes was just starting to get into the game a little bit more. But we just didn't allow them to build any rhythm. They were slow, they were ponderous, and that's because we made them slow and ponderous. We dictated the pace, and we just never gave up, and we were just at them for the full 90 minutes, and especially that second half. It was a masterclass, an absolute masterclass. Down to 10 men against a team that's third in the league, unbeaten under this new manager. To do that to them shows me that there's still a little bit of fight in this team. Now, it doesn't paper over, pardon me, it doesn't paper over every crack. But if we can turn up like that, why can't we do that against Everton? This is what knocks me about Newcastle. Because we can do it. And we were brilliant tonight. We were absolutely fantastic tonight. I'm so proud of that team performance against Manchester United, because I hate Manchester United. I have since I was a kid. Can't stand them. They're not on the level of a Liverpool or a Sunderland to me, but they're just below. They're probably where Middlesbrough are in my head. Or Darlow, because that's a Hartlepool United reference and all. I've mentioned Hartlepool more times than I usually do in this video, so I hope I get a free ticket next time. But no, anyway, Newcastle were great tonight. 10 out of 10 performance. I thought Joe Linton was man of the match. Well, kudos to Eddie Howe, because whatever you said to them at the beginning of the match and at half-time, it clearly paid off. They're still clearly playing for you. I don't think you're the man to take us forward, but I will give you credit where credit's due. And that was a great performance. Let's see if we can turn over the other half of Manchester on Saturday and get to will it be the quarterfinals of the FA Cup after the 5th round? There's that many rounds in the FA Cup, I can't work it out sometimes. But I think it is the quarterfinals, and then that's anybody's ball game then, isn't it? But that was brilliant. And that's what we need to do now. That has to be... Oh, I've got a bit of hiccups. I do apologise. That has to be now the level that we play at. And I'm sick of saying that. After every top performance, I'm sick of saying that we just can't be consistent. But hopefully we can be consistent. But that was a 10 out of 10 performance. Joe Linton, man of the match. Eddie Howe, 10 out of 10. Well done, the lads. Up the TOON. Come on. And as I always say, keep it black and white and keep it Pooley Mag TV. Over and out, folks.